for my city, a certified hardcore sports town. We champions in all the big four sports now. It's not smart to bet against us, we are forced now. We got heart like going for it on fourth down. Ain't nothing soft about us. That Philly pretzel used to doubt us. Now you gotta respect the Philly special. Talking trash, you gon' need a pass, cause my city ride. We fanatics, you don't wanna see our gritty side. Support the colleges, what up the big five? The women too, like Xfinity, we get live. Whether diving for a touchdown, driving to the hole, swing and hit a home run, fire for a goal. We kick it with the Union, in the air with the stars. See sports with the fusion, I don't care where you are. You can never be too hype for the team you like. Philly unite tonight's the night, so let's fight for the Flyers. Phillies, Sixers, Eagles, represent the city and let's do it for the people. We never throw the towel, I come from a proud city. Ring the bell, scream and yell, now say it loud with me. Flyers, Phillies, Sixers, Eagles, represent the city and let's do this for the people. So all Philly fans, let the rest of the world know Philadelphia fans, the best in the world. Go!
Yo. Oh, man. I got a question. Somebody let me know. I know y'all see the topic. I know y'all see the question on the top of this live. Jump in and tell me what the answer is to this question, because I'm tired of trying to figure it out. It's crazy. It's crazy how I have to ask this question. It's kind of unbelievable, that you can sit there and you can have to ask a question about a Super Bowl winning quarterback, Super Bowl MVP, a Super Bowl MVP who's been to the Super Bowl twice. And you got to ask why he doesn't get respect. Somebody need to jump on here and tell me why that man don't get no respect. I need to know, like, why is Jalen Hurts not being respected? Why is he not top 5 on most people's list? Somebody answer that. Why is he not top 5 on most people's list? One of the crazy things too is, like, a guy like Brock Purdy just got paid, right? He got 260 or 255 over 5. And not saying that money means anything, because we all see what happens when these guys get these big contracts to start hurting the team, because you can't go out and sign free agents. Who's in the chat? Can you hear me? Can y'all hear me good? Because I don't want to be just sitting here talking and nobody can hear me. Just a thumbs up, a yes, or whatever. Whoever is in the chat, just answer if you can hear me, so I don't keep this, because I had an issue with my mic a few minutes ago. I just want to make sure everything is coming through nice and clear. Whoever's here, just answer yes or no. I appreciate it. You know what I mean? I'm gonna keep talking until they reply. I guess nobody. I mean, there's one person in here, and maybe they don't feel comfortable to talking and answering. You know what I mean? But if you can hear me, I really need you to engage. I really need somebody to engage and tell me why that I'm asking this question about Jalen Hurts. You know what I mean? There's a lot of stuff to talk about tonight. I don't know if we're gonna get through it all, but I just wanted to start off with the Jalen Hurts thing, because I'm still trying to figure out what the issue is when it comes to the respect that man should have on his name. I'm still trying to figure it out. Nobody can convince me why, or tell me why he doesn't have the respect that he deserves. I just don't. I really don't see it. I really don't understand it. Again, he's not top five on most people's, I mean, and it depends. Like people, because it's like having your favorite rapper. You know what I mean? It's like having your favorite rapper. People say, he's top five on my list. This is my, top three rappers. You know what I mean? It's to your liking, it's to your preference. But a proven quarterback, somebody who's proven something in his career against a bunch of guys who's only throwing up stats, like individual stats, that doesn't result in team victories at the highest level. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't result in Super Bowls. Like you could dominate regular season all year, all day long. You could dominate regular season all your career. But is that what you play the game for? And that's why I like Jalen Hurts. Let me see if I get my lights on. That's why I like Jalen Hurts because it's like I don't think the man really, really cares about regular season stats. I don't think they plugged it up. Yeah, the plug came out. It's all good. I don't think the man really cares about regular season stats. He cares about the end result. And it was proven this year. You know, they came in with a game plan to stop Saquon Barkley. They did that and forced Jalen Hurts to pass and beat him. He did that. But why is Jalen Hurts not considered one of the best quarterbacks or top five quarterbacks in the league? Why isn't he? I mean, I don't understand it. And somebody has to tell me, or somebody has to. And I know it's a lot of hate. I know people going to say, well, the league, they be hating, the analysts be hating and all that. And I get it. I understand that. Like I said, it's your preference. But the man has done what most people say he couldn't do. When the Eagles drafted him, it was so many people talking about how he wasn't a quarterback for the future. He wasn't going to lead the team to a Super Bowl. He wasn't going to be able to win a Super Bowl. And they don't understand why they made that pick. And the same people last year, I mean, especially the year that we went to the Super Bowl 2 years ago, started eating their words and saying, like, you know what, Jalen Hurts might be. He just, because that first year they went to the Super Bowl, he had a heck of a year. He started out with, he was one of the best deep ball threats in the league that year. One of the best. I didn't say the best, but one of the best. Took that team to a Super Bowl. Yeah, they lost, and then they lost on a phantom holding call on James Bradbury, and he still doesn't get the respect that he deserves. He's in the Super Bowl, right? Most quarterbacks that people would say is top five right now, you know what I mean, or ahead of Jalen Hurts, haven't sniffed the Super Bowl. The only person that I would never even argue with is Patrick Mahomes. Again, if we're talking about team success, that's something different compared to individual stats. Now we only talking individual stats. Okay, yeah, there's a bunch of quarterbacks that have better numbers than him individually. Passing yards, touchdowns, things of that nature. But at the end of the day, do they have team success? Do they have what it counts for why you're playing the game? Do their team success translate into Super Bowl wins? Super Bowl MVPs? Anything that you play the game for, do they have that? And my answer is no. Because nobody in the AFC over the last couple of years can get past Patrick Mahomes. Nobody. Except Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow beat him one time to make it to the Super Bowl. And that was, it's sort of like what we did to them. Their offensive line was trash. And we just exploited that and put pressure on Pat Mahomes all day long. So that's what Cincinnati did when they beat him the one time. But the Ravens, the Ravens, the Bills, they can't get past Patrick Mahomes. They cannot get past him. But yet and still they're considered. I mean, individually, yeah, okay. Individually, yeah. But for the team, And like I said, MVP. I thought MVP was the most valuable player for your team. Meaning he got your team over the hump. Meaning he took your team to the promised land. Meaning if he's off your team is not. And that well, I'm not gonna say that like that because yes, if Jalen Hurts is off the Eagles probably wouldn't have went that far. If Jalen Hurts was really hurt after that Washington game, they probably wouldn't have went that far. So that's a bad way to say it. But what I'm saying is that I just don't understand how he's disrespected the way he's been disrespected, and all the man does is win. You know what I'm saying? All he does is win. Let me look up a stat real quick. Let me see if I can look up a stat real quick. Because I see people jumping in and out. Let's see. Come on, if y'all ain't here, talk to me. So Jalen Hurts is fourth on the list, and this is according to Stat News. Fourth on the list for most winningest QBs in the league. Fourth. Number 4, Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Jalen Hurts, Jared Goff, Justin Herbert, Tua, Aaron Rodgers, Kirk Cousins, and Matt Stafford. There's people out there that saying Matt Stafford is better than Jalen Hurts right now. Right now, I challenge anybody in the chat right now that can hear me talking. Tell me how Matt Stafford right now is better than Jalen Hurts. Tell me that right now. And then they had some people had Joe Burrow over him. The point I'm making, like if we want to talk about individually, if we want to talk about individual stats, you know what I mean, then I can respect it. I can respect people's decisions. I know you talking football, but the question should be why are the Sixer fans coming up with these dumbass trade suggestions? You know what? We can get on that too. Um, you know what? The Sixers let me down big time this year. You know what? I like what Gilly told Paul George. I like what Gilly told him straight out. He said, "Yo, I'm giving you a pass this year, but next year you got to, you know, what I mean, you got to come with it because at the end of the day, if you don't, like, it's gonna be a whole problem. Like, we're just gonna have to blow this up because y'all ain't working out." I like how he got on Embiid. Like, yo, the Sixers right now is tripping. We suffer from PTSD. Yeah, you're right because how do you have the best center in the league and not achieve nowhere? Like we had like this year, to be honest, Smitty, we had one of the best big threes that was out that was put together. One of the best big threes. And I don't like the one thing about that interview that I ain't like about what Paul George said. I ain't like when he said that guys was new. He just came to the team. He was just like, no, you're a veteran. Take it over. Take over. Now, you know what? I don't see. This is where I say I said this earlier in the year. I said, give it one more year. Give it one more year. I think after one more year, then you can see. Then we could blow it up. Because Embiid coming off the injury, he just got a surgery. Paul George is getting his body together. Maxey is out there, working. Give him. We got the number 3 overall pick. Yeah, he can't stay healthy. That is a big problem. And B body can't handle no more. I don't know, man. I think the problem was he didn't get the surgery last year, and he played in an Olympics. The Sixers should trade they pick and go get an All Star. Who you trying to go get? Who would you go get? Because you know what, Matt, I hear you. I hear that, but the problem is that if you trade that pick away, and let's say you go after like a KD, you only have like 2 or 3 years left for KD. And if you ain't winning a championship in those 2 or 3 years, it'll be wasted pick. I'd rather draft somebody. APG's the bum. I'd rather draft somebody. Definitely. Yeah, I know. I know. You keep repeating it over and over again. I get it. I get it. I get you, Smitty. I understand what you're saying. Um, you, Mac, you said marketing. Marketing. Like, if you talk about the dude from Utah, he ain't like. What did he do for Utah? Yeah. See, I mean, like I said, the problem with that trade, Mac. The problem with the trade is that if you trade away your number 3 overall pick and you get somebody in here. Now I'm cool with. I was proposing the idea of trading for KD early in the season, right? But that was before we had the number 3 pick. The problem is you trade your number 3 pick for a KD. You got 2 to 3 years left, especially of Embiid, Paul George, and if you keep Paul George and you know KD. So if you do that and you don't win, guess what? Your team is back to process mode 2.0. You know what I'm saying? You back to process 2.0. Who marketing or who you talking about is a good fit? Like marketing, listen, bro. I ain't. I'm not doing that. I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't trade my number 1 3 for marketing. Hell no. I'm sorry, man. Sorry for the language. Sorry. Hell no. Sports guy Carl Sampson, where he at? I don't know. Is he saying who is he saying to trade for? Because I'm not trading that number 3 pick for any of these veterans out here. Like, I mean, if it was a different way that we can get like a KD or somebody like that, then I'll make that move. But not trading my number 3 overall pick. And I think that if Daryl Morey goes out and make that trade or make a trade something like that, he's got to be on the hot seat. Now, I believe that when they got James Harden, they had to get Daryl Morey here to bring James Harden in, but James Harden's gone. And I think, and me being honest, I believe that the Daryl Morey experience should be gone, should be over with. I mean, he's really not done anything. You know what I mean? He's really not done anything. So, like, why do we need him here? You know what I'm saying? Like, why do we need him here? And at the end of the day, like I said, if he his only goal was to get James Harden here, he done that. He hasn't done anything else after that, and he's proclaiming himself to be one of the best GMs to ever to be a GM. He's proclaiming himself to be that. How are you the best GM, one of the best GMs to ever be a GM, and you haven't gotten past the second round since you've been here? I think he's only had one Western Conference Final appearance in his career. Like, he's only had one Conference Finals appearance in his career. So how are you one of the best GMs? Like, I don't agree with that neither. My thing is, like I said, like, if you're going to make a move, you have to you will trade him too. Yeah, exactly. If you're going to make a move, Daryl Morey gotta go. Like I said, I would do one more year with Embiid, one more year, and that, you know what, I might give him to the trade deadline. If I don't see no progress and no dominance and no a different mindset out of Embiid by the trade deadline, I'm getting rid of Embiid at the trade deadline. It's going to be teams that's out there that's going to want him. LA, the Lakers might be one of them. The Clippers might be one of them. Somebody's going to be out there. It's going to be a little bit of a market for him. You might not get what you want for him, but it'll be a market out there for him. But you gotta you can't trade your number 3 pick for you know one of these veteran stars because like I said, if you get a number 3 pick, they're talking about the guy Ace Bailey. I don't really know college basketball right now like that, like I should. But if he's good, if he's a good player, then think about the core you have. Think about the core you would have: Maxey, Jared McCain, Ace Bailey. I like a Dembona. You know what I mean? I like what's my man name? Darn it. He's working out with Maxey right now. He's from Philly. What's the guy name from Philly? Left-handed. So like him. You know what I mean? We will have young stars, a young group that if we had to do a turnaround, it wouldn't be that long until we'd be able to compete again. But if you trade that number 3 pick again away, you're gonna wait. You're gonna have to blow it up because Maxey and them is by the time you get a good pick again, who knows what the picks is going to be in the future? It's going to be too late. You're going to be in rebuild mode again. So me personally, I wouldn't trade that. But listen, let me tell y'all something. I just came on here real quick. I haven't been live in a while to talk about the Jalen Hurts respect or the lack of. We got into some Eagles talk. Sixers talk. We're gonna chop. We could chop it up again about them. But like I said, all in all I'm trying to say to people out there is why is Jalen Hurts getting so disrespected? You know what I mean? Why is his name not mentioned in top 5 QBs in the league playing right now? Why is he not being mentioned in that? That's number one. Number two, we just talked about the number 3 draft pick. Who you trade? Would you trade that pick for somebody? I wouldn't. I'm keeping my number 3. I'm keeping my number 3. So is Max said he would trade it for? He said market. I think he's talking about marketing a dude from Utah. And to me, that ain't good enough for a number 3 pick. He's not good enough for me for number 3 pick. You know what I mean? I wouldn't go for that one. Like I said, I would draft a young guy, get him worked in with some of these people that we got, Maxey, McCain. You know what I mean? People hate to be wrong about him. Yeah, they do. But the thing, yeah, you see, I wouldn't trade him for him. But see, the thing I'm trying to say though, Matt, when it comes to Jalen Hurts, the messed up part about it is that the man has done nothing but win. Now I criticized him a lot, especially the end of last year, the start of this year. I criticized his mental a lot because it just seemed like he did not care. He just seemed like he was only playing for himself. And I really, after that bye week and they established their identity, it seemed like he took it a little bit more serious, and you've seen the results. All of them, you know what? If you got the top 3, like put it like this: Cooper Flag can play on this team right now. I haven't seen a lot of the guy Ace Bailey, but they say he could play. Paul George even said he could play in the league right now. He's got a higher upside. You know what I mean? But you know what I mean? I would not trade my number 3 overall pick for Larry Marketing. Now you might have. I don't even know if you have a conversation with like a KD or anybody like that. I'd rather see. Think about it like this though, Matt. Think about if Embiid come back still on that nonsense and still not playing good or trying to play good basketball. If you trade Embiid by the trade deadline, you probably can get a little bit back for him. You could trade Paul George and try to get something back for him. And think about, you still got a young core of Maxey McCain and Ace Bailey or whoever that 3rd pick is. You still got your turnaround won't be as long as it would be if you traded away your number 3 overall pick. So you got to look at it like that. Because, like I said, even if you do get a Larry Marketing, a KD, if you don't win a championship in the next 2 to 3 years, you wasted your time, and now your rebuild is that much longer. PG got to go. Listen, I hear it. I hear that. I don't know if you saw the interview with him and Gilly put him on blast. Um, but I think he got to respond to that. I think he got to come back and respond to that. And if he do, I think it'd be a lot better for us. And like I said, it depends on Embiid's mental. If he comes back ready to play, healthy, ready to get the job done, it'd be a lot different team. But if he comes back on that mopey, um, crybaby type mentality, it's going to be hard for us to win. But listen, Mac, I'm gonna get out of here for a minute. I gotta go run. I gotta make a run real quick. I'll be back. I'm gonna try to come back Thursday because I work tomorrow. But I'm gonna try to come back Thursday and be on here talking some talk. If you're available, stop in, tap in with me, man, and we can finish the conversation. But I'm gonna holler at you, brother. Thanks for everybody that showed up, came through, even the people that just watched from behind. I appreciate y'all being on here, watching the show. It means a lot sometimes when you get people to watch you talk, and do your passion and engage with you. So I appreciate y'all. And even the one, like I said, even the ones who didn't come on, who didn't say anything, I appreciate y'all being a part of it. You know what I mean? It's your boy Jamar, Top Shelf Sports Talk. Peace.